Hey everyone, it's Steph here. Welcome to the Stable Studio. So firstly, just before New Year, so I want to wish everyone a happy New Year. And also thanks to all the new subscribers in the past month, posting videos again. There's been some new subscribers, so thank you so much for joining me. And also thanks for the comments and stuff you've been popping on the videos and the little chats, people asking questions. I love that. I'll talk guitar all day long, whether it's gear or technique or whatever. I just love it. So yeah, keep them coming. Today, talking a little bit about the cage system, but specifically 1-4-5 progressions and the triads surrounding the 1-4-5 progression. So I've got a little bit of a hack. I hate that word, hack, but I use it because it's like a buzzword, isn't it, on YouTube and on the internet in general. A little bit of a hack to learn the 1-4-5 triads down the guitar. I say a hack, it's a little bit of work actually. It's not like a simple do no work and learn it in 10 seconds thing, but it is really helpful. So just backtracking a little bit. So the cage system, I know a couple of people have mentioned the cage system, and like when I was a kid, I don't know whether it existed. It certainly existed musically, but I mean, of course it did, you know, probably from the ancient Greeks it existed, didn't it? But I mean, the word caged, or you know, it got labelled at some point, didn't it? The caged. When I was a kid learning guitar, rather than someone saying, "Oh, you need to learn the cage system," which is all the different chord shapes in different places on the guitar, they just said, "Go learn loads of chords. You know, go do homework. Learn A in as many different positions as you can find it. Learn B in as many different positions as you can find it," and so on and so forth. So that's kind of what I did. These days it's kind of labelled the cage system, or so I understand it. Caged meaning C-A-G-E-D, so C, A, G, E, and D. Nearly got them in the wrong order then, I should work on my spelling. So, yeah, so that's the cage system, and the idea is that all these different shapes, so the C also exists in all these other different shapes, so you can also play C in the shape of a G, which will be here, right? Because that's your root note of C, and it's kind of like, if I do it properly with a little finger, it'll be like that. As if first finger's barring, you know, like human capo style. So that would then be a C, but it's in the shape of a G. And that's kind of what the cage system teaches you. Taking a C and being able to play the C there, being able to play the C there, Now being able to play it kind of here in the sort of D shape, should I say, in the case system, and so on, in all these different shapes. But for today, I thought I'd try and simplify it a little bit and make it, and apply it a little bit more to, you know, kind of real world situation, which is the 1-4-5 progression, right? Most of us play contemporary kind of rock, pop, blues, whatever, which heavily features 1, 4, and 5 chords, 6 minors, you know, 3 minors and stuff as well, but mainly 1-4-5s are everywhere. So it's worth learning your 1-4-5 triads in any given key. And that's what I'm going to go through today, and that's what I was using at the beginning of the video when I was soloing. I was just trying to hit the chord tones of those triads. I will explain. So basically what it is we're in the key of A. That little bit at the beginning is in the key of A. I was playing A, which is the 1 chord in the key of A, of course. D, which is the 4. Then I went back to the A, so back to the 1. Then I went to the 5 chord, which is an E. Then back to the 1, which of course is an A. And over that, I was trying to target kind of chord tones. And what I mean by chord tones, for anybody that doesn't know what I'm going on about, is notes that belong to the chord that's underneath you're playing. So if you've got backing track, right, and your backing track, or you know, is moving to a D, let's just play it. So it's now going to move to a D here. What you're trying to do is aim for notes, chord tones of a D chord. Specifically, the major third works nicely. And it just sounds cleverer. There's a word for you, right? Because you're hitting a note that, you know, kind of lifts at that moment because the chord underneath it just fits so well. Rather than just playing an A major scale over the whole thing or whatever, you're actually focusing on hitting a note at that moment. When the chord changes to D, you're hitting a note that's in a D major triad that's just, it's the money note, you know, it's going to fit beautifully, it's going to sound great. I'm trying to explain it, right, and I'm failing a little bit on that. But let's learn the triad shape that I've got, and then we'll go from there and I'll show you what I mean. So, in the key of A, starting on an A, as everybody knows it, if you played an A in proper AC/DC style or proper 70s rock style anyway, you play it like that, right? And we're just going to focus on the 4th, 3rd and 2nd strings, right? So that's your A triad, A major triad. Those 3 notes on the 2nd fret, 4th, 3rd and 2nd strings. Then you've got D, and I'm sure you've all used this shape before where you've played. I'm sure most people have played a song that's done that, right? Well, that's actually a D triad. Most of the time, if you're playing a song that sounds like that, you're playing a D triad, but you're keeping the A in the bass there. So it's a D over A. We're just playing the 4th, 3rd and 2nd string, so we just want those 3. You can keep that bar there if you want, or you can play it like that, whatever. But it's 4th, 2nd and 3rd frets there, and that's the shape. So that's the D, and then all you do is slide it for 2 frets for the E. So that's the first group of 1-4-5. So A, D, E. And what I suggest you do in these groups is just get used to one group at a time. Get that with your fingers. Okay, once you've done that, when you get to here, your next group of 1-4-5 in the same key of A will be here. So, this A chord comes from here. Then you've got the D, which comes from this shape, but also actually from the G shape as well. So it comes from the A shape and the G shape. There's so much crossover, as you can imagine, on the guitar. There's always crossover from one shape to another. Okay, so D and then E. So your second 1-4-5 is A, D, E. So far, we've got A, D, E, A, D, E, A, D. By the way, this shape actually originally comes from the C shape. C shape kind of bar chord, if you like. So A, D, E, A, D, E. And the last last shape, the last set of 3, or the last set of 1, 4, 5 is same shape we just done here, but coming from the C shape here. So A, D, E, and obviously the D and the E come from those chord shapes. So all together you get A, D, E, A, D, E, A, D, E, and then you can go back to A, an octave higher than where you started to finish off. And then it can keep going, right? So, and learning that really helps you kind of visualize, if you're playing a 1, 4, 5 progression like I was at the beginning, helps you visualize where the chord changes are, rather than you just using, I mean, you can use a major scale all day long, right? Which one is play on the timeline? Is it middle one? Yes! I need to learn my looper way better than I do. I can play an A major scale over this all day long, right? It sounds great, you know? Whatever. Aimlessly noodle. Or I could think about the chords that are coming along and try and nail those chord tones. So I know it's stuck on A. From here though. From there though. Then back to the A. That's from here. So, to be clear, I'm not always trying to hit all 3 notes every time the chord changes. I'm just selecting maybe 1 out of those 3 notes to land on, because I know that's a chord tone for that particular chord that's underneath. So you're looking at the harmonic backdrop of what you're playing over, and you're trying to, turn it down a minute, you're trying to land on a note that's going to just lift it, rather than just randomly play over an A major scale. It'll all fit, of course, but using the triads like that, you can just nail those chord tones and it sound a little bit more expensive, you know, for want of a better word. You know, you can hit those money notes a little bit. And if you just tie that together with the major pentatonic or the major scale or whatever else you're using, but be thinking about what chord's coming up. Intentional. Apart from that, mistakes are okay because you learn, right? And so on. So that's just a good way of getting out of a scale box for a minute, you know, getting out of a major scale box or a major pentatonic box, and just forcing yourself into something different, into a different position. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but you know, just taking away that safety net for a minute, the safety net of a major scale, the safety net of a, you know, major pentatonic scale in A. Think, oh yeah, I'll just stay here all day and it'll be perfect, it'll be great. Yeah, it will. But sometimes, you know, just trying to nail those chord shapes and try and make a melody around those chord shapes, around those triads. It just sounds sweeter. And then it's just joining that and your scale knowledge together and you're away. So for me, that's a really good way of getting started with the whole cage thing. Thinking about it as far as lead guitar is concerned, as far as soloing is concerned. But not just that, you know, if you're playing in a band situation and let's say you've got a piano player in the band and you don't want to fill up too much frequency range with the guitar. You don't want to play, because the piano player's maybe playing loads of low stuff, and it's just all sounding muddy. Then you know all these kind of triads of A and D and E chords, or whatever key you're in. You could be rather than, you know, it fits better around other instruments if there's already something in that frequency range. So you can go up, you know, into a different area of the guitar. The word has gone from my head that I was looking for. Inversion, there's the word. You can go up to a different inversion. Fancy word, I probably can't spell it. But anyway, hopefully that's been useful for you today. Go and learn that in loads of different keys. Not just the key of A, do it in the key of C, and so on, or in the key of G, or any key. And, you know, hopefully it will just help you unlock the guitar neck just a little bit more. Anyway, Happy New Year to you all. Thanks once again for all the comments and the likes and the subscribes, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care. See you soon.